Good evening and welcome to tonight's Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of Trustees meeting. We will start our meeting like we do all of our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll take roll call.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Good evening, Maria Norman, Member at Large.
Julie Hollingsworth, District 1.
Antoinette Payne, District 4.
Jennifer Mathias, District 2.
Ann Duff, Member at Large.
And I'm Noah Smith, District 3, and to my left is Dr. Daniel, our Superintendent, and Clerk of the Board, Angela Filler. Thank you all for coming. We'll start today with our consent agenda. I'll accept any motions. This would include the approval of our minutes, vouchers, and payroll, and our personnel report.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Dr. Daniel, anything you want to add at this point?
Do not.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? Passes. Dr. Daniel, second time around. Nothing new. Okay.
We're all good. All right.
All right. There is no old business at this time, so we're on to new business. Steve, if you're available, would you take our student replacement devices topic?
Sure. It is recommended the board approve the purchase of 131 Ruckus Network Power over Ethernet from Vector Tech Group of Holland, Michigan, in the amount of $77,000. Is this the right?
No.
That's
Okay.
B.
I was just looking at this. Sorry about that. I moved one item down. This is on the student replacement devices. Okay,
please.
here we go.
Yep.
It is recommended the board approve the purchase of 2,615 student Dell Pro 14-inch laptops from Secured Tech of Fairfield, Indiana, in the amount of $1,884,892. These Dell laptops are part of the Northrop and Wayne High School student device replacement plan. We were able to secure Dell pricing from Secured Tech that is below other pricing standards. Indiana law does not require public bidding for purchases made at or below approved cooperative purchase agencies and or GSA pricing. Funding will come from the Common School Fund, loan, and the Technology General Obligation Bond. And Kevin Grubel, the Director of Technology, is here to answer any questions about this recommended replacement of devices.
Thank you, Steve. All
Move
those
for approval.
Second.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Jennifer. Is there any questions for Kevin at this time? No questions? All right. All those in favor of the motion? No.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Maria, if you go on to the network switch replacement recommendation.
Yep. It is recommended that the board approve the purchase of 131 Ruckus Network Power over Ethernet from Vector Tech Group of Holland, Michigan, in the amount of $77,617.50. A public bid was conducted through the Federal Universal Service Fund, or USF, portal in conjunction with the FWCS Business Service legal requirements and procedures. Vector Tech Group's bid came in at $517,450, but through USF discounts, FWCS is only responsible for 15%, which is the $77,617.50. Funding will come from the Operations Fund and the Common School Fund loan, and Kevin is still available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Maria. Any motions to consider this recommendation?
Move for approval. Got it.
Thank you, Ann. Thanks, Jennifer. Any questions for Kevin at this time?
Kevin, can you explain what these do?
So these are power over Ethernet network switches. So they provide power to our phones, wireless access points, security cameras, and other devices that we don't want to run electrical wire to. we power them across the network.
And how often do those need replaced?
We try to get 8 to 10 years out of them.
And is 131 of them cover all of?
It's a replacement wave, so we usually have about a 5-year cycle on these. So we approximately have around 700 of these in the district.
So these are our Wi-Fi connectors? Is that what I heard?
They're the network switch that's in the closet, yes. Yeah. So whether if you're using a computer, a tablet, if you're on Wi-Fi, if you're hardwired into the network, you're going across these network switches.
So if we did not have the USF discount, what would we do?
Bake sale? We would just try to extend the life. I mean, we would just have to do what we'd have to do.
So they're in a 5-year cycle is what you said.
They're currently on a 5-year cycle, but we don't replace them every 5 years. The E-rate funding is a 5-year funded cycle, so we try to get the most out of that as we can. These switches do live in the closets, like I said, in between 7, 8, and 10 years, but we take the 5 years as the cycle comes around to replace them.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kevin? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Kevin. Julie, would you read the group health plan renewal 2026?
Recommended that the board approve the renewal of the administrative contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield, or Anthem, for medical and RX benefits, pharmacy benefits, effective January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. Anthem acts as a third-party administrator for Fort Wayne Community Schools Group Health Plan, providing employees with access to broad-based PPO providers and network discounts. Anthem manages the claims processing and all aspects of the provider network. They also perform utilization and medical management functions, provide enrollment support and customer service for our employees. They also share eligibility and accumulators with RX benefits on behalf of the plan. Administrative fees for medical, dental, and vision are remaining the same because we are in the second year of a 3-year commitment. The medical prescription plan will remain with the current pharmacy benefit manager, CVS Caremark, through RX benefits. Fort Wayne Community Schools continues to receive pharmacy cost savings through prescription rebates within the plan of over $500 million in the last 4 quarters. Reinsurance or stop-loss premiums are increasing 4%, or about $105,436. Administrative fees and reinsurance premiums are estimated to be about $4,069,000, or approximately 6.8% of the total expected cost of the health plan, which is $64,715,278. Funding comes from the Fort Wayne Community Schools Self-Insured Health Insurance Fund. Members of the insurance team from Human Resources will be available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Julie. Can I get a motion?
I move for approval.
Second.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Steve. Questions for our insurance team from HR? I guess if you wouldn't mind, who is the insurance team from HR, and would they introduce themselves?
I'm not sure I'm Brett. Hi.
That's quite a team you have, Michelle. How many employees do we have covered under this plan? If you wouldn't mind to the mic, roughly.
How many total do we have covered? It's a good question. So I know it's I believe the last number was 3,111.
And we have over 5,000 roughly. It's part-time is included in full-time.
Correct, and all of our part-time employees are covered under health insurance.
So over 3,000 employees are covered with this, full-time employees. What's the approximate cost per employee?
It depends on the plan that you're on, but it's going to range anywhere from our low plan of $79 a paycheck to a couple hundred if you're on the core plan.
And those costs, I presume, have been continuing to go up over the years?
Yes, and we foresee them to continue to go up, unfortunately.
anybody else have any questions?
Is there any model out there where employees can get, a certain amount of cash in an account that they can use to buy prescription drugs from, maybe, there's Good RX, there's Cost Plus drugs, and that money goes toward their deductible? Because I'm not an expert or anything, but just doing some reading and research, pharmacy benefit managers are, you're basically getting double charged when you use them.
So, if I understand your question correctly, it's kind of what our HSAs do that we pay into. If a employee is part of our high deductible health plan, then the district, along with the employee themselves, puts money into a health savings account where then they can use that money for health costs, including prescriptions and other medications.
And they can get those prescriptions wherever they want.
Yes, technically they can get them wherever they want. Our provider is CVS, but they can get them almost anywhere.
Do those payments go toward their deductible?
Out of their HSA, no.
Okay.
I know we've been self-insured for a number of years. Have we recently looked at what it would be like going with a different group or partnering with other school districts or anything like that?
I believe they reevaluated this a year ago. I apologize, I wasn't technically part of the team a year ago, but from my understanding, it was reviewed under the last manager of the compensation and benefits team.
So let's talk about what you've went through then reviewing this. What did you see? What are your pros and cons of this program and plan?
Yeah, so in the 2 months that I've been here, the benefit is that well, I guess we're not there yet. For the health insurance portion, from my understanding, they came in with Anthem significantly under what some of the other providers offered a year ago. So our relationship with Anthem has maintained a lower cost for us.
Thank you for being put on the hot seat 2 months.
Yeah,
Good job for 2 months on the job.
Yeah.
thanks.
Any other questions for Brent or Michelle? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you. Tony, if you do the next one, shorten
Yes.
long-term life.
Thank you. It is recommended that the board approve a 3-year renewal offer with New York Life, which would extend the rates currently in force on the short-term disability and long-term disability plans through February 1st, 2029. It is also recommended that the board approve a 3-year rate extension with Symmetra Life Insurance Company for life insurance and AD&D renewal through February 1st of 2029. New York Life's current in-force rates became effective January 1st, 2022. The short-term disability rates remains 0.17 or 1.78 per $10 of weekly benefit for the plan. Long-term disability rates remain 0.275 per 100 of covered payroll, covering eligible teachers, administrators, and supervisory employees. Long-term disability rates remain at about 10 cents per $100 of covered payroll, covering eligible classified staff. New York Life is providing a one-time technology credit of $15,000 to be used at the discretion of the Fort Wayne Community Schools HR department. Symmetra Life Insurance Company rate remains the same from 2023 at about 8.3 cents per 1,000 of covered payroll. In addition to the rate guarantee, Symmetra also is providing a one-time technology credit of $10,000 to be used at the discretion of FWCS HR department. Michelle Wadsworth, Chief Human Resource Officer, will be available to answer questions.
Thank you, Tony. Can I entertain a motion?
So
For
moved.
approval.
Second.
Okay. Questions for Michelle?
I do have one. I can't remember in previous renewals where we were getting technology credits. Is that new?
It is not. We have just not taken advantage of it. When we had our renewal conversation with them, they brought it up to us again. We actually have a very good use for those funds as we look to replace another system that's sunsetting in June.
Nice.
So is it cash they give back to the district that you can use at your discretion, or is it just a credit on the bill?
We essentially have to provide them with an invoice, and we can create their own invoice through technology for whatever use we have.
And the symmetry AD and D, is that something that the district pays or the employees choose to pay and add to their benefit
The
structure?
Symetra, and Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, because again, I'm a newbie at this here for 4 months. It is
Double
partially-
his, come on,
partially-
Michelle.
I said partially,
Double his tenure.
yeah.
So partly paid by the district, partly paid by the employees?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any of the other buyers, I guess we encourage, look for technology credits, right, Steve?
Well, I gotta believe that the billing system changes all the time, and the folks down in the basement gotta figure out how to make these things work, and, I mean, we're paying them to do that, right? And we've never really taken advantage of this money to offset that cost. I like it.
Kevin, something to look forward to. All right, any other questions or comments for Michelle this time? I'll take a motion. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Jennifer, Parkview joint replacement.
It is recommended that the board approve the letter of agreement with Parkview Health System, Inc. for renewal of the joint replacement services, which is anticipated to exceed $150,000 annually. On June 1st, 2023, Fort Wayne Community Schools in Parkview entered into a direct payment agreement that provides knee and hip orthopedic joint replacement care items and services to Fort Wayne Community Schools employees and at a substantial savings to the health plan. Service of $55,000 per bilateral joint Parkview charges a combined case rate of $35,000 that is paid per joint replacement service, or $55,000 per bilateral joint replacement services. The agreement with Parkview automatically renews on January 1 of each subsequent year. If the agreement is renewed, extended, or restated, case rates are subject to increase on an annual basis as determined by Parkview. Funding comes from the Fort Wayne Community Schools Self-Insured Health Plan, and Michelle will answer our questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Ann, thank you.
Second.
Jennifer, thank you. Any questions for Michelle?
Yeah, I'm a little confused by this recommendation. It says that the services are expected to exceed $150,000 annually. What actually was the cost? Because I've got to believe that we're fixing more than 1 or 2 hips and a couple of knees at the rates that have been suggested. So what is that dollar amount? Is it $300,000, $500,000, or do we have really great employees that don't need these types of services?
This would be dependent on the number of employees that actually seek the service.
What was the cost last year?
And I don't have that, but I can get that for you.
Okay.
Is this, Michelle, is this just the Parkview cost? I mean, this doesn't include like the anesthesiologist and the surgeon, and is this just the Parkview cost?
This
Or
is,
is this
yeah, my understanding is this is bundled pricing for everything.
For everything?
That Parkview handles.
You need a new knee?
It's a significant.
Got one,
savings.
thanks. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because you know, when you get your bill for that, there's, you know how bills are in this country, it's probably 7-8 pages long. Interesting.
Is that a good price?
I mean, the device itself is probably. Stop.
So we're note provided that 22 people went through the program in 25, is that right? Or
Again,
that's an estimate?
I would have to verify.
That's correct. It was 22.
That would a total cost to be 800,000?
I don't know the math. I just know we had 22.
That was in some documentation provided. Okay. Any more questions? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, thank you. Workers' comp. Ian, if you would.
What page is it? Can you tell me that?
Yes,
Yeah.
12.
I went to the bottom somehow. Okay, it is recommended that the board approve an agreement with JWF Specialty Company as the third-party administrator, TPA, for the FWCS Workers' Compensation Program for the second year of a 2-year term, which began January 1, 2025. JWF specializes in the administration of education and municipality benefit programs. Their clients include some of Indiana's largest employers and public school districts. JWF has been to the TPA for FWCS since 2012 and has exceeded expectations on claim handling processes and reporting capabilities. Funding comes from the FWCS Self-Insured Workers' Compensation Fund, and Michelle is here again to answer our questions.
Thank you, Ann. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Ann. Any questions for Michelle? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Steve, if you do the vehicles.
Yes, sir. It is recommended the board approve the purchase of 5 vehicles from O'Daniel Ford in the amount of $176,285. A little bit more detail on what we're buying. 2 2025 Ford Explorers that are going to be allocated to facilities. 1 2025 Ford Explorer that's going to transportation. 1 2025 Ford Transit van to technology. And then finally, 1 2025 Ford Transit van going to warehouse. This award includes a total trade-in allowance of $35,000, and this money is coming from our operations fund. Pete Smith, Director of Maintenance and Operations, is here to answer any questions about this proposed purchase.
Thank you, Steve. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Ann.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. Do you have questions for Pete?
Pete, I have a few questions. 2 Explorers allocated to facilities and 1 Explorer for transportation. Can you elaborate on the quantity of vehicles that both of those departments have and why it's necessary to have these vehicles?
Sure, yeah. So the 2 for transportation are replacing 2 pickup trucks that the coordinators used previously. Or I'm sorry, 2 facilities, I apologize. And that we're from M&O inheriting those trucks into our group versus purchasing new trucks. We have older trucks that need to be replaced. So as part of the trade-in package, we're trading in 3 vehicles plus the 2 we're inheriting from facilities. So they were at 11, now they're going to be at 9 vehicles. So we're actually reducing their fleet by a couple vehicles. They are carpooling a little bit more, and then some of the vehicles that they used in the past, one went to our energy consultant who is no longer with the district. We don't feel we need that vehicle. And then we donated one of the other vehicles that they used to use down here as a pool vehicle. That's that white sedan that is currently now kind of being shared through other parts of the district. And the one for technology or transportation?
Transportation.
Transportation, that's replacing an old Chevy Traverse that has been traded in. I think their total non-bus fleet, I want to say, is 10 vehicles. That includes a few vehicles that the security or the safety supervisors drive, along with the mechanics. They have pickup trucks that have their various tools and equipment on them as well.
Okay, so how many total did you tell me for transportation?
Transportation, I think the total is 10.
10?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We're trading in 2 vehicles, you said, for 35 grand or more?
We're trading in, I believe the total was 7.
7 vehicles?
Yeah.
How old?
Oh, those, they were very, very old. There's not much trade-in value. That's like when you look at those trucks that M&O is inheriting, they're older vehicles that have low mileage, but we still have a purpose for them in grounds. We'd rather use that because the value of a trade-in, we're not going to get as nearly as much value out of that vehicle if we trade it in versus inheriting it. and just repurposing it.
Sure.
So instead of me buying two new trucks at about $50,000 a pop, I just spent $8,000, put a plow package on it, and then I can upgrade the fleet that way. Not a brand new truck, but it works that way. And then Heather is able to get her vehicles for her staff that she needs.
I absolutely understand that. It's just
Okay.
the trade-in value for 7 vehicles for $35,000 when you
Yeah.
can barely
Well,
buy
I think two
anything
times ago I
nowadays.
was up here that someone asked me that same question. The trade-in value is just nothing, but it goes to show you some of these vehicles that we have been in our lot for quite a while.
Well, that's why I asked how old they
Yeah,
were,
yeah.
because I have children who need cars.
Yeah.
And I know how expensive it is to
Absolutely.
get a car
Absolutely.
with
Yeah.
150,000 miles on it. So
Exactly.
it's either they're taking us for our vehicles or they're really old vehicles.
They're really old. They're really old. Some of those are.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Any questions for Pete? Thank you, Pete. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Maria, would you take the architect, engineer, construction manager, construction services?
Yes. Oh, you give me the long one.
This is-
Man, okay, no, I'm kidding. Yes, I can do this. It is recommended that the board approve contract adjustments of architecture and engineers contracts for the 2026 on-call projects and the approval of the architect and engineer and construction manager as constructor services for the expansion and renovation of the FWCS Transportation Center. There are several projects listed. I am not going to read all of those, but there are several. On-call projects will be funded through a combination of the 2020 School Building Basic Renewal and Restoration and Safety Project Bond, the 2026 Operation Funds, the 2026 General Obligation Bond, and the 2026 Furniture and Facilities Improvement Project Bond. Construction manager as constructor or CMC as permitted under Indiana Code 5-32 for publicly funded projects will be utilized for the expansion and renovation of the FWCS Transportation Center. The project will be funded through the 2026 Furniture and Facilities Improvement Bond. This recommendation includes approval of the design services contract based on a percentage of construction value and allowable reimbursable expenses, as well as a fixed fee for pre-construction services. A subsequent recommendation will be presented for board consideration upon establishment of the final guaranteed maximum price, and Heather Krebs, Facilities Director, will be available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Maria. Also, take any motions?
So moved?
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Julie. Questions for Heather?
Heather, for the Transportation Center expansion and renovation, there's two different entities listed for the same, $6.5 million. Does that mean they're doing different parts of it, or they're doing it together, so the total is 13 million
So
estimated?
Yeah, so no, the total is 6.5 million.
Okay,
The architect, Barton Co., has their percentage fee that we're recommending, and then Hagerman, as the construction manager, has their pre-construction fee.
And then on the general building systems and bleacher requirements, Kelty Tappy Design Architect Engineer, do we really need an engineer to do bleacher replacements?
We do because
It's over $100,000?
it's over $100,000, and it's also a code requirement just because of the nature of the work. It requires a permit.
How much of that project is the bleacher portion, do you know?
The
The
bleacher.
1,208,124?
Yeah.
Is that just one location of bleachers or multiple?
No, there are 3 locations of bleachers.
Okay.
The bulk of it is at Northside High School in the main gymnasium. And then we're also replacing the bleachers in the Aux Gym at Snyder and the bleachers at Jefferson Middle School. The general building system portion of it, a lot of little miscellaneous things, door replacements at several locations, just doors that have been beat up over the years need replaced. Some other smaller projects, such as adding some infrastructure for ice machines, washers, dryers, for athletics at several of our middle school buildings.
So that sounds like a lot of jobs under one kind of bucket? Is that?
It's a lot of jobs, but they're all very small in scope.
Right.
So it makes sense to bid them out together, just to gain that efficiency.
No, I get that part of it, but then the cost with the engaging a designer or architect, I guess, for, did you say water replacements for washers and dryers?
Yeah, so those particular projects would require a permit, so that immediately
Triggers
elevates it to needing a design entity involved. The door replacements, you could probably argue that you don't need it, but for as many as we're doing, it helps to have that entity just to make sure we're staying per our standards and getting all the specifics, because there are a lot of small technical things that we need to include, especially with door hardware.
How many doors are you talking about roughly?
I think altogether in these projects, we're probably in the range of 40 to 50 doors across various locations in the district.
Interior and exterior doors? Or all interior?
I believe they're all interior this year.
Heather, is Jones Petrie new to the district?
They are not. They've done several site projects for us. Their main office is located in South Bend, but they do have a Fort Wayne office that does a lot of their civil engineering work, hence the reason they're on several of our site projects. But we've been working with them for probably the last 4 to 5 years, I would say.
Okay.
Any other questions for Heather? Thank you, Maria. That was a long one. Thank you, Heather. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Julie, could you do the next one?
It's recommended that the board approve the following construction contracts. There's roofing at North Crescent Northwood, there's roofing at Northside and Brentwood, there's roofing at Memorial Park and Forest Park, roofing at Croninger and St. Joe, Miami site improvements, interior finish replacement, and in addition at Bloomingdale, the prices are all there and contractors there for you to see. Projects will be funded through a combination of 2020 school building basic renewal restoration safety project, that 2020 bond, the 2026 operations fund, the 2026 general obligation bond, and 2026 furnishing and facilities bond, and are within the program's budget. And Heather Krebs is still available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Julie. I entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Julie.
Second.
Thank you, Ann. Questions for Heather?
So what are we adding on at Bloomingdale?
We are adding on in the small courtyard they have right at the front of the building that faces west, similar to what we did at Nebraska, if you recall that project. But basically, we're expanding their office. They have a very tiny office right now, and in fact, the principal and assistant principal right now are operating out of a conference room elsewhere in the building because they just don't have enough space.
Will that affect the security?
The main security entrance remains the same. It's more toward the back end of the office, adding office and conference space that will be affected.
Is ACB General Contractors new? I don't recall.
No, they've done several projects with us over the years. They are located in Huntington, but do a lot of work in the Fort Wayne area.
Any other questions for Heather? Thank you, Heather. All those
Thank
in
you.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Tony, would you do the next one?
I appreciate it being short. It is recommended that the board approve a transfer of up to $9 million from the education fund to the operations fund. This represents 3.5% of budgeted education fund revenue. Beginning in 2019, Indiana School District deposited state tuition support to the Education Fund and property taxes to the Operations Fund. Transfers from the Education Fund to the Operations Funds are necessary to properly fund expenditures necessary to the operations of the school district. Half will be transferred by June 30th and the balance needed by December 31st. Rosie Shipman, Chief Financial Officer, will be available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tony. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Tony. Questions for Rosie? What is it, isn't it 10% that we're allowed, or is it
15%.
15%, and we're gonna do a total of 3.5?
Maybe, but if we stick to our budget, we won't have to do any of this year.
Okay. Well,
So
Hey.
that's, is that your projection, that we may not have to transfer any?
Right now, we won't. We closed the year pretty well.
Yeah.
very well,
So-
looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Good work.
We were fiscally responsible the second half of 2025, and so we ended with cash in both the Education and Operation Fund, higher than I projected, so.
Good work.
The month numbers look very strong. Good
Yes.
work on your team
Yes.
as you closed out. Any other questions for Rosie? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Jennifer, will you do the next one?
It is recommended that the board authorize any transfers necessary at the end of 2025. There are certain appropriations within funds that have negative program balances, while others have positive balances at the end of 2025. Negative appropriation program balances cannot exist at the end of the budget year. The transfers between appropriations are necessary. Rosie will answer our questions.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Tony. Questions for Rosie? Approximately how many do you have in negative, well, actually, how many do you have in total funds, and how many do you have negative?
We don't have any.
Okay,
This is a compliance.
okay. So, any more questions for that? So he's got a mic drop so far tonight, 2 for 2.
It's just a compliance that you cover yourself.
Yeah,
State board, you know how state board has all of the programs.
Yeah.
So like the 1110 is elementary, 1120 is secondary, 1130 is high school. You have to make sure within each of those programs that you end in positive, and we do.
congratulations. Okay. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I will read the next one. It is recommended the Board of School Trustees conduct a Board of Finance meeting, that the officers of the Board of School Trustees also serve as officers of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of Finance according to the board's bylaws. It is recommended that the 2025 investment report is reviewed and that the board reapprove the district's investment income policy, excuse me. State law requires that the Board of Finance meeting be conducted in January of each year. Per FWCS bylaw 0151.1, the Board of Finance officers are the same as the school board. The law requires that they receive and review an annual investment report and the district's investment policy. State law also requires the board to reapprove an investment income policy 6144 every 5 years. So the meeting's open and now closed.
We have to open it and ask if there's anybody here to speak.
Oh, would there be anyone like to speak about this topic of the investment policy and the board being the board? Thank you. No one deciding to speak. I will now close the meeting. I will entertain motions to close the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Tony. All those in favor of closing this Board of Finance meeting?
Did we get an investment report?
Who did in our board
One of those
package?
It's in the board packet?
Yeah.
You got 2 emails, Julie, the second one.
Oh, it's in the second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was too big to email.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of holding the meeting, closing the meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Ann, would you take the next topic?
Yes. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees review the district's financial condition as of June 30th, 2025. Per Indiana Code 51378, the superintendent of a school corporation must annually submit a written report to the local Board of Finance to allow them to assess the financial condition of the school corporation. Metrics used to assess the financial condition are determined by Indiana Code 2019-74. Following are the metrics reported by the Distressed Unit Appeal Board. Average daily membership, fund balances, annual deficit surplus, fund balances as percent of expenditures, revenue by type, operating referendum revenue as percent of total revenue. DUAB provides a web-page interface for interested parties to review and assess the financial conditions of school corporations based upon the previously listed fiscal indicators. The school corporation fiscal indicators webpage can be accessed at in.gov/DUAB. The report of Fort Community Schools financial condition was sent to all board members in their board packet.
Thank you, Ann. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions or conversation? This was the fancy 7-page report that Rosie prepared to us and was included in our packet.
You've had good news, Rosie. Do you have any other good news?
No. I can only give it to you through June 30th, 2025. That's all we have. But it was colorful and nice.
It was nice. Thank you.
I think it's fair to say the summary is we're in good financial state.
We are.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Steve, would you take the resolutions regarding the GO bonds?
Yes. It is recommended the school board conduct a public hearing regarding the matter of appropriating the proceeds of the general obligation bonds Series 2026 and investment earnings thereon. Subsequent to the public hearing, it is recommended that the school board adopt resolutions to authorize the issuance of bonds and to approve the appropriation of proceeds and the earnings thereon. A little bit more background information. At each of the September 2025 school board meetings, the school board held a 1028 preliminary determination public hearing on the 2026 through 2028 district-wide furnishings, policy improvement, and bus and equipment acquisition project. And then on November the 10th of last year, the school board adopted the 1028 preliminary determination resolution, making a preliminary determination that there exists a need for the 2026 through 2028 district-wide furnishings, facility improvement, and bus and equipment acquisition project as defined and described in detail in that 1028 preliminary determination resolution, and to finance this project with the issuance by the schools corporation of general obligation bonds and first mortgage bonds by the Fort Wayne Community Schools Building Corporation in one or more series in an original aggregate principal amount not to exceed $62,150,000. No request was made by any member of the community to have the 2026 through 2028 district-wide furnishings. My computer closed for a second. We had nobody up here before us. Prior to this meeting, the board of directors of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Building Corporation approved the form of the master lease and approved the execution of the master lease. Here's the final paragraph. Get excited about this. The board of directors of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Building Corporation and the school board will convene again on March 9th of this year to take further action, including approval to issue bonds. So that's an important meeting.
That's a different
School board.
That's a different rec. I think you jumped ahead.
Go up. There you
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, it jumped.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm sorry. Blame it on the computer, right? Let me back up just to make sure that I cover this. I don't want to have David come back and chew me out about missing something.
Start with no request.
No request,
made.
right. No request was made by any improvement and bus and equipment acquisition project or related financing be subject to the referendum approval process after the school board approval on November the 10th of 2025. We are now ready for the next step in the approval process to issue the A series of the general obligation bonds to fund a portion of the costs of the 2026-2028 district-wide furnishings, facility improvement and bus and equipment acquisition project, which is this public hearing on the appropriation of the proceeds of the general obligation bond series 2026 and investment earnings thereon. At this time, all interested parties are entitled to present their testimony regarding the project or bonds.
Well done.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, good job.
I guess if anyone is interested in discussing or talking about this topic, there was no one indicated previously. I'll give next 3, 2, 1 opportunity to speak up. We did hold this recommendation and the following recommendation were spelled out as part of our budget process last fall, which we also had public meetings, and no one spoke against those as well. So with that, I will take a motion for Steve's General Obligation Bond Series 2026, a resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve.
Second.
Thank you, Julie. Is there any discussion? This is simply approving a resolution of everything that Steve read for us to execute for the general obligation bonds of 2026. Hearing no other conversations, I seek a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Maria, on to our next wonderful long board recommendation.
Yeah, and I just keep lucking out, don't I? It is recommended that the school board pass a resolution to reapprove matters related to the Fort Wayne Community Schools Building Corporation, including reapproving its articles of incorporation and code of bylaws, and the reappointment of its directors. Furthermore, it is recommended that the school board approve the master lease and set the public hearing on the master lease for March 9th of 2026. These approvals are required to facilitate financing of the portion of the 2026 through 2028 district-wide furnishings, facility improvement, and bus equipment acquisition project previously approved by the board on November 10th, 2025, using the proceeds of the bond to be issued by the Fort Wayne Community Schools Building Corporation. No request was made by any member of the community to have the 2026 through 2028 district-wide furnishings, facility improvement, and bus and equipment acquisition project or related financing be subject to the referendum approval process after the school board approval on November 10th, 2025. Prior to this meeting, the board of directors of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Building Corporation approved the form of the master lease and authorized the execution of the master lease. The Board of Directors of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Building Corporation and the school board will convene again on March 9th, 2026 to take further action, including approval to issue bonds. The school board will also conduct a public hearing on the master lease and the appropriation of the bond proceeds for the 2026 through 2028 district-wide furnishing, facility improvement, and bus and equipment acquisition project at that time, and Rosie is still available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Maria. I'll entertain motions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Ann. Questions for Rosie? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Julie. Could you take the Don Woods camps and clubs?
Yes. It's recommended that the board approve the acceptance of a grant from the Don Wood Foundation in the amount of $41,000 for the 2026 FIRST, that's an acronym, robotics season. The Don Wood Camps, Clubs, and Competition Mini Grant helps support our 5 high school FIRST robotics teams in covering the cost of equipment, travel, and entry fees. Each high school was awarded the amount they requested, which was the lesser of $10,000 or 1/3 of their total budget. This is the second consecutive year that our high schools have received this grant. This competitive grant was written by Matt Schiebel, Executive Director of Safety Community Partnerships, and he is available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Julie. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Any conversations or questions for Matt? Each
Has
of
the
the,
first robotic season started?
So they had the release of the project, because they really don't find out the rules of the project until the first week in January. So they went to Homestead High School last week for that reveal, and now it's go
Game on.
time. It's go time. So they have, most of them will participate in one in February and then one in March, with state being sometime in April.
Are there any competitions in Fort Wayne?
No, unfortunately not. We're trying to lure FIRST Robotics here, but we have a board report next time we get together where we'll give you a lot of details on that. But the interesting thing is we really, when you think there's only 71 competition teams in the state of Indiana, and FWCS has 5. So that's really impressive. But we're thankful for Don Wood to provide that money because robotics is expensive. And without, Don Wood kind of provides that cushion to make sure that we're able to afford everything. Because when you think about travel, you know, when you're going to, most of them load in on a Friday night and don't come back until Sunday. So when you think of some of our teams that have 30 members, you know, to put 30 members up in hotels and feed them and everything else, in addition to just the costs, it's an expensive sport, but it's definitely well worth it.
so each high school got a grant, so about $5,000, $8,000 roughly.
It varied per school because really the budgets are different. So the awards varied from $6,500 at a low to 2 schools that had $10,000 because the budgets alone range from $18,400 to $48,200. So it's an expensive sport. But we're fortunate to have not only a lot of grant writing taking place, but a lot of different local businesses that contribute. Now, in our next board report, I'll list out those businesses so you can see the amazing support that we get, because that's why there's not a lot of FIRST Robotics teams in Indiana. It's a very expensive sport.
So how many kids would you say amongst those
95.
95?
Yep. So our team sizes range from 12 to 36.
And they've been growing, have they not?
They have been.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Matt. Now, across the,
President, I think we have to take a vote on that one. You kind of missed it
oh,
on page 22. Because you voted on the first one, but
we voted on Steve's resolution?
yeah, if you don't mind going to page 22.
Okay, I thought we did, but we'll do it again. This is the
You
huh?
voted on the first thing, but it said then take another vote. You didn't take another vote to appropriate it.
You lost me there, but I trust you on that.
Wasn't page 22? No. Thought it was page 22.
So 21 was the one Steve read about the resolution regarding the geo bonds. And then 22 was the resolution regarding the building corporation.
Yeah, but then I have my words.
32.
Oh, 32, excuse me, 32.
Is item N or O on our agenda?
It should be N, I believe.
And is it Nancy?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we don't have page 32.
It's got a different packet.
So we had
Motion,
Maria
second
read
on
the resolution to reapprove matters related to Fort Wayne School Board and Building Corporation, including reapproving the articles and code bylaws and reappointment of its directors. And we had Steve read part of that. The school board conduct a public hearing regarding the matter of appropriating the proceeds of GO bonds. I guess I didn't open and close that hearing.
Well, that's all right. But then I said, it says NOAA before the hearing, blah, blah, blah. Do you see that or no?
No.
Is item N?
Here.
Here.
And that.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that. Okay. So, let me go back.
You voted on the first one, and then it said, then take another vote, because there's 2 resolutions and appropriations.
Okay. Okay, so we voted on the resolution authorizing the issuance of the GO bonds that Steve read. Now we'll seek a resolution approving the appropriation of the proceeds of those bonds.
Yes,
There we go.
All right.
And the investment earnings. So what I am seeking is a resolution approving the appropriation of the proceeds of the general obligation bond series 2026 and investment earnings thereon. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, just
We're
to CYA.
Okay, yes. Okay, next we have our longstanding people here wondering why the heck they've been here this whole time. And they're probably from the Career Academy, which services 6 construction trade programs. 50 students participated in the November JA Job Spark event at the Coliseum, where they demonstrated hands-on skills and shared their experiences with freshman students. Each year, our students also compete in National Skills USA competitions, collectively representing 7 different career pathways within the construction industry. Sandra Adams and Chris Roberts will highlight the growth of success of our CTE programs, and we are presenting a video by our own Fort Wayne Community Schools Austin Russell showcasing the students in action within the Career Academy Construction Trades programs. A roll to tape, please.
Currently, here within our program, I lead our department, kind of creating new ideas and avenues and ways in which we can further embed ourselves in the community, in our region, and somehow ingrain construction in our junior and senior students. We get students currently from all over our county, which gives us a nice eclectic bunch of kids to learn from each other and grow with each other.
Basically, me and my brother, we grew up building like forts and things out of wood just out in the backyard. And I grew up loving to do that. I loved working with my hands.
I like the opportunities that we are given here. It's not like a normal day at school. You get real job experience and you're not sitting in the classroom all day. You can learn a trade that'll benefit you for the rest of your life.
And all of them choose to come here. They apply, and once they're in, it shows that they're here for business. They're here to start a career. In working with JA aligns exactly with our mission, and that is to get youngsters to start thinking about their career and the opportunities that are out there, whether they're hands-on or whether they're something at a desk or whether it needs further education, post-secondary education, certifications, whatever it might be. Our program runs just right alongside JA and has for a long time.
We get a lot of training here, a lot of work with the tools and like structure work. So I feel like all that can help me be more employable to my future employers and just to grow my arsenal.
All of the advice given is directly related to safety or skill, and I would say that all of that directly attributes to a job site and would be very useful to know.
They're great opportunities in FWCS. You just gotta find the one that fits for you.
We, as adults, need to continue to encourage our students at the youngest age possible. And once we see that spark, once we see that talent or that God-given ability, we need to nourish that and we need to encourage it and continue to allow the students to develop whatever direction they want to go in. As a country, we are starving for continuing to find that talent. We are starving for exposing our students to opportunities, and we need to continue to invest our money and our efforts in our youngsters to try to fill that skills gap that has been created within our country. Once doing so, we're going to continue to see things grow economically. We're going to see our region grow as far as talent and skill sets that then can be passed on to the next generation.
So Chris and I are here to showcase the great growth that the Construction Trades Department has had, and we should have a slideshow coming up soon just to give you some background images on what we were going to speak about. But I just want to say one of the great benefits is we have been able to write and successfully win a few different grants. So we've had 2 reserve grants, you know that if you've been on the board, over the last 4 years that have resulted in $300,000 that we've been able to get a compact and an excavator. And so we have 3 different Bobcat devices now that would have been impossible to buy through normal Perkins funding. And then the commissioners also were incredibly supportive of helping us with a grant. And
Sandy, before you run through that slide deck, can I ask Chris what those
He's
young men were
next.
building those little houses? Or what was the purpose of those?
So those were for one of our good partners, which is the Blue Jacket Corp. And so those were for the Fantasy of Lights. And those were ticket booths that they used this year and huts that entrepreneurs could sell various goods inside of those. So we've done, I don't know, probably 12 over the years. They really like to include a lot of local businesses. This year they were a little short on that. So last minute we were able to provide 6 of them. And the students at that point were able to knock them out in a week. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So about 10 years ago, Larry Gerardo and I were able to stand in here and talk to Dr. Robinson about the need for more space at our last construction building, and she was able to push us into a new one where we are at today. She told us that if we filled the space that was allotted, which was about half of the 46,000 square foot building, that we could have more. And so here we are continuing to grow. In 2016, we grew with a new plumbing program giving us 4 instructors. And the $80,000 needed for that build out inside of an empty warehouse, all that $80,000 came in materials and all was donated by local businesses from the region. Fast forward a few years, in 2019, we were full once again. And we're in need of more space. And once again, we were able to lean on local businesses, which provided along the side of foreign community schools. But local businesses were able to provide about $500,000 in materials. The students were able to do the project, and we were able to expand another 10,000 square foot. And with that, we were able to get an HVAC class. We were able to get a training room, and the giving didn't stop. A year or two after that, we were wondering where we were going to get money for the tools in these new spaces, and our Allen County Commissioners came forward with a surprise, which was $250,000. With that, we were able to update our aging fleet. We had vehicles from the mid-'90s, which I felt were kind of new, but turns out they weren't. And we were able to spend that money on various pieces of heavy equipment as well, which fed into, which we didn't know at the time, our latest program, which has been civil construction and heavy equipment operation. And so with that, we've been able to kind of move and grow, and a lot of it has been community-based, and a lot of it's been just out of the success from our students leaving our program and going out into our region and working.
Are you out of space?
We're 100% out of space. We have a couple closets that we might be able to fit a student or 2 in. But honestly, we are at that point where growth is going to be critical for our program.
Our administrator in that building also shares a closet space with the custodial team. And but it's all working. It's beautiful. So the slide that you have before you is really that not only do we drive our own renovations, but construction trades is very community-based with the curriculum. And so everything from Safety Village, which you saw also in the film, to the long-standing partnership that Chris mentioned in the clip with JA. And John Capps was featured in the Boys and Girls Club, I think maybe 6 times a year, I don't know how many times, numerous times a year. Construction Trades is actively partnering with Joe Jordan's group. And there's just a fantastic relationship, and the community is so supportive, I think, of our program because of it is a definite win-win situation. And we had in the clip that we had sent about 50 construction trades only. We send about 160 students this year to the JA. It is just one of the greatest highlights of the year because students go without their teachers and they really step up. It's for capstone student development of leadership skills, and they never disappoint. They talk to the 8th graders and the freshmen for 2 straight days, and they give them, it has to be interactive is one of the parts of the experience. And so we have watch students really develop and communicate with 8th graders and freshmen and are so proud of their program.
I'm not sure I understand JobSpark. So are you saying that our high school students become instructors for younger students on those days?
I would say that's
Is
fair.
that what happens?
Yeah, that's very fair. So we work for weeks ahead of time in every program area, and sometimes even Mary Kay Smethers will come and help students develop a better communication style and be more outgoing and approachable to 8th graders and freshmen. And it's fun. I know this is about construction, but our cosmetology students did nonstop braids. And while they're braiding, they talk about the program. It was crazy to watch. But so every one of our programs goes out, and 160 students with just some administration, and we make culinary teachers and cosmetology teachers come along just because there's so much going on there. But everyone else, it's all student driven. It's great. Yeah, it's really great.
Do all of our freshmen go through this Job Spark experience?
Shanita, I want to say yes, right? Yes, all freshmen go through. And then across the county, some schools send 8th graders. Yeah. No, it is. If you've never been to Job Spark, it is the 3rd and 4th next year. We've already got their save the date, and it is so worth walking around. And it's great for JA too, because so many companies want to be there but can't be. And so with construction trades, we have 220 partners that we can go represent. Yeah, so it's great. We also are really proud and want to highlight that with the funds and the Perkins funding of this program, that there is a real STEM focus, and now you'll see at the state level that the principles of construction trades, principles of electrical, principles of HVAC are all added to the STEM courses recognized as a high school credit in STEM. And so we have purchased, the first picture there is Mason Hannah standing in front of a CNC machine. And so we make software purchases. Students are working all the time. In fact, you can't see it very clearly, but he's holding a game that he designed on a CNC machine. It's the Marble Run, and he created his own Marble Run, and then I think he made 80 of those for Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, we had a student event that created 85 of them for Christmas gifts for the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, and he was so proud of his design, and it was very good. Yeah, it was well done. And then we have, working on survey equipment. Our students took first place in the rigging contest at the state level. Now that we've added civil construction, this was our first year to compete. So to win first was great for the instructor, Matt Moore. And then the cabinet that you see is the national winner national winner last year. Came from Chris's program. So we do like to emphasize that construction trades is more than just what people think of. Everyone says, I'm here for the hands-on, but there's a huge STEM component to that. And then I just wanted to include this because one of my favorite parts of the construction trades program is the culture and the climate of that building. And the gentleman in the neon construction trades t-shirt is not a student. That is Eddie Anderson. And Eddie Anderson graduated last year, and 150 of his peers went to work for a local company. And he actually, I walked in on the second day of school and took this picture, and I said, Eddie, what are you doing here? And he said, I asked my boss if I could come for my lunch hour all week since the new students are here. And to me, as a building leader, does anything speak, if you could measure culture and climate, I think that's how you measure it. So, and then to speak of the student outcomes, my clicker's not working. Every year when I come and we highlight a different program, it's the internships, the students at signing day, and Chris and his team of 5 other instructors did a great certification twist 2 years ago, and we now offer a forklift certification for all construction trade students. And that is not a grad pathway approved, but there really isn't right now a grad pathway approved certification that works for construction trades. But being focused on those student outcomes that we really aim for through Perkins, they were able to find an industry-based, and we were able to put over 160 students, but through the forklift certification. And so bumping up their resumes in that way is just terrific. And I will turn it over to Chris, who is the master of creating those moments of pride and elevation.
Wow. That's awesome. So one of the big things that we do within our building, just as Matt was talking about, is we put our hands-on and trade learning to competition format. And when we do that as educators, we are able to see a lot of equity and accountability. We're able to see through the kind of rigorous work that they're doing, we see a lot of growth. And so over the past 17 years or so, when our program first started, the Skills USA push, we've seen an unbelievable chain of events that has led to students not only winning at the regional level, but continuously winning at the state level, sometimes dominating the first through third place in every category in construction. And then now we're winning at the national level. And in doing so, we're producing exactly what us instructors are here for. We work to see our students work. We work to see our students go into the career field. And so what Skills USA is doing and what our competition format's doing is it's giving that sense of pride, and then it's giving a whole bunch of confidence. And it's giving that confidence in a very quick fashion to where I would almost dream of being able to walk into a shop and on the first day being able to grab tools and equipment, just get started like we're able to do for our students. Watching that and seeing that is contagious. And so not only is our program pushing the envelope, we have more numbers than ever before in automotive and welding, our cosmetology program, our graphic design program, and IT, everything around us is starting to grow and be boosted and lifted up. And it's bringing us a large credit nationally, and that feels good, and it feels good for instructors. So not only is it lifting up our students, but it's lifting up our instructors' morale as well, because this is the purpose of what we do. A lot of our career fields that we teach in our building are based around competition, and so to be able to get some of that back as an instructor and be able to spread that and give that away to our students is just really special. Last year at the state event, we had more gold medals than we've ever had. And again, that trend is continuing. And then we had as mentioned, we had our first ever national title in our department. And that was in cabinet making. And that young man's got his own special story that was put on the news, and he's got his career path in front of him faster than what I could ever imagine. And so with that said, it's been an honor teaching kind of these kids and showing them a trade and being able to pass that on. And not only does it do this for the students, this brings in a whole community. This brings in a whole group of partners. Our regional Skills USA event, which by the way is this coming Saturday from 8 to noon in our building right downtown here. You can grab a shovel and help us dig out and have that ready to go on your way up. But that particular event is kind of everything that we do as a school district, what we strive to do. This connects us with our program with parents, which, as you know, it's very hard to get that element completed. This brings in community, and it brings in people who know nothing about our program, nothing at all. And then they get to see something really special. They see a kid in his first year, second year, constructing an entire project by themselves, just following the blueprint. And then we get our business partners in, and they use the event almost as a college combine event, where they're actually drafting and they're coming up with ideas of how they can coax some of these students to come work for them. So there's nothing better. It is our Super Bowl, that's for sure. And so, with that said, the last thing that it does is it connects us to former students. And those former students are now actually coming there looking to hire some of our students. So something small, or what came up as a small idea, which was, I think we had 3 students on a Saturday our first year we did it. I think it was in 2007. We had 3 students and we had 8 judges. And that has ballooned. We will have this coming Saturday, we'll have 128 competitors. And again, you talk about running out of space. We have literally no more room, even in our back parking lot. Last year, we bought a huge tent and a heater to try to do that. This year, there's not going to be enough heat in the world to heat that tent. So we're coming up with some other ideas as we speak. But even if you have time, even on Friday, we have the building set up and ready to go and some initial competitions started. But the Skills USA event that Karen Gilly, our IT advertised design instructor, as you all probably know by now, she really was passionate about it early, which I was able to catch on to that pretty quick and see something great about it. But all of our instructors are extremely involved at this point, and we see nothing but higher standards kind of in the future.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, we have all but 2 programs for the very first time this year. So even PEC will be hosting 3 different Skills USA, and we're really excited. Yeah, the momentum is just amazing.
Remind us what's PEC?
Oh, Parkview Education Center. Yeah, sorry. I should stop speaking an acronym all the time. And then I just could not be prouder to say that we are continuing our 10% gain every year with college completions. And so not only does the all 6 of the construction trades programs do contribute to the work-based learning and the signing day results and the certification, they also all now result in 9+ dual credits, and that is a huge metric that we aim for. And HVAC under Ashley Delagrange became the first construction trades program to result in a CT completion this year. So she is now a part of our early college. So it's just great because we try to focus early with students that post-secondary does not mean college and it doesn't mean career. It's both in today's world. To be successful, you really need that combination of both. And we will end this on the most positive note that signing day will continue, and you have a little invitation card in front of you to save the date if you would like to come, and Skilled Trades will be at the Grand Wayne Center. And it is such an event, just like Chris was saying, Saturday, if you've never gone to one of our regional skills, it's definitely something you should attend. And equally as exciting is the signing day. We had to move it to the Grand Wayne Center, and we still fill the 400+ space in there. So definitely worth coming to.
So you're running out of space.
Yeah.
And I would assume that your student count is going up?
Yeah, we have 140 year 1 roughly and 60 capstone, which is a year 2.
Which is really interesting because it seems like there's a proliferation of technical schools that every area district is now creating programs and facilities, and yet our programs are still growing. How does that all come together? I'm actually surprised that we're growing.
I think, honestly, there's no better way to market a program than students who've gone through the program. And I, as only an administrator, I've never been on the construction trades team, but when I walk into regionals at their building, I mean, I'm smiling the entire time I'm in there because it is just, oh, there's Jake Berry, oh, there's Christian, all of the students that we've had over the last 14 years come back. It's something. And that's why, we talk about culture, but it's such a light topic, but students coming back over their lunch break, I mean, where else does that happen? And so I think that it's that 3-hour block of time. It's the industry-based teachers who really are coming with their, I worked in electrical, I plumbed for 17 years, and now I want to inspire the next generation of pipe fitters and plumbers. I think that is the magic. But Chris, do you have other ideas?
Yeah, I think about 2010 when we started to get rid of industrial arts programs in these other areas, and we kind of kidded ourselves into thinking that the trades were just something that somebody would eventually fill. I think it's caught up to us. Well, I know it has. There's national groups that constantly speak to this and the fact that there's this massive skills gap. And it's funny. I've been fortunate to have a lot of friends, and out of all my friend group and everything, there's one or two of us that's in the trades. It's that 35 to 50-year-old age group that is just really struggling most. You don't see them on job sites. You either have, and our students will tell you, you either have a journeyman that is near 60. Or you have a journeyman that's in their 20s. And these kids are learning from one or the other. And there's just this huge hole kind of in the center. And that's not just construction. It's all the trades. It's welding, it's automotive. It's definitely a struggle. Now, our area, I know there's other career centers going up. And a lot of people always ask me, aren't you concerned? Aren't you concerned about losing students? We have a district that not only that I was educated in, but I was educated in a program at Northside with Steve Smethers that he taught 120 students a day, right? We have 200 in our program feeding the whole county. It's not okay. I'm a proponent of CTE, and I'm a proponent of the trades. And I'll tell you that we need far more career centers if we want to keep our region growing, right, economically, et cetera. And as far as the other schools, I'm part of their boards as well. I want them to grow. I want them to do well. Fort Wayne Community Schools has a huge base of students that we still need to reach.
I know our superintendent loves it when he sees our directors and principals become entrepreneurial, and we hear so much about Homestead students going to AMP Lab, but what I also hear from you is that we're getting students from other districts to jump into the construction trades program?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Definitely. And we still have a great base, and those students contribute to every good piece of what we do. And I'm hoping to continue to keep that kind of group coming in. I mentioned on the video an eclectic group. I mean, we really do. We have farm kids with inner city kids. We have parochial school with public school, and it all works. We have zero discipline issues. If you look school-wide, our attendance rate is through the roof. Kids want to be in our program. They want to be there. They're hungry. They're hungry to learn. And so being that space where they can come meet a really, really unique electrical instructor, and they can meet people straight out of the trade. They can meet Miss Delagrange, who is she might be 4'10", but she walks around like she's 7'2", and they get this really unique format of learning, and it doesn't take them long to become part of the team.
How many programs do you have wait lists for then on the construction side?
We don't have many waiting. We are full, and then
He means wait lists.
Oh, sorry.
To get into the program.
That's a Sandy question.
Yes.
No, last year we had 82 that were waitlisted from non-FWCS. And so we are trying to
What
actively.
areas?
Electrical is number one, followed by carpentry, followed by the civil construction that we just added with the, no surprise that the equipment, the Bobcats have gotten a lot of attention, the excavators. And, but we are really not surprised again, because when Chris, when we talked about Skills USA, the construction trades and other programs, we were of first, second, and third places at Skills USA State. We were 40% of all awards. So just our school. That was a big moment. So yeah, no, they're doing great things.
Could you go back a couple slides on the certifications and talk a little bit about the types and how many and the quantity the kids receive there?
So in construction trades specifically,
Either
or
one,
everything?
either one.
Well, construction trades, we're doing the forklift certification, but we also always start the year with OSHA specific to skilled trades. And so everyone gets OSHA 10. No one goes into a lab in any of our programs without passing the safety certification. That's week 1 and 2. And then across the board, I mean, it's everything. Most of our fields have 2 and 3 certifications that they provide.
So I'm a junior that comes to Antis, right? And my first thing is to take the OSHA lab. And if I don't pass it, let's say the first time or right away, what happens to me then?
So once in a great while, we'll have somebody, it's called OSHA 10 because it normally takes about 10 to 13 hours to get through the curriculum and show that you're certified. And so once in a while, this year we had a welding student who really struggled. And so an administrator like myself will sit down then and go through the lessons with them and help them get it done on a digital platform.
But this is a certification that's directly transferable to jobs, or employers want to make sure, hey, little Noah or little Jennifer has that OSHA 10.
So almost every company in Fort Wayne in our region, we try to match those at our advisory boards. We try to ask, what are you all doing and what do we need to do to have our students ready to work? So OSHA 10 was a huge one. So they get the plastic card in hand, they're certified online. The nice thing is it not only can read the test to you and it can read the curriculum to you, but it also can do multiple languages. So, and I think that's the part we probably struggle with the most. The information is very understandable. You can comprehend all of it. There's great pictures and evidence with everything they do, but sometimes there's that language barrier piece that even us instructors struggle with. So with that given, that has produced a lot of good stuff. We do CPR as well, and we do boom lift, scissor lift. So they're getting, on average 5 or 6 industry required certifications each year.
So one of the things that was published in a newsletter that we had called the HANA newsletter that I asked everybody to read was the Attorney General wants to de-emphasize these certifications and more emphasize SAT for gradings for schools and stuff like that. And I just Googled while we were talking, 1010 is apparently the minimum SAT that they want, or that's what's published, which I'll acknowledge I didn't score after twice. How would that impact our students trying to graduate or trying to get through ANTIS and get these certifications?
I mean, I can only speak to my own experience on that because I haven't read that, but I would say that I'm as an advocate of CTE as Chris is, and I think it goes to the mistake of post-secondary in this age of acceleration that we live in this age of entrepreneurialism, that to think that the SAT is the only marker that determines someone's success seems, I mean, I don't want to criticize somebody of that caliber on live Facebook, but I would say that I highly value the certifications that industries look for because, I mean, it took us a while to come up with the concept because we are tied with money with certifications and they are quite expensive. I think last year we spent $62,000 in certification testing alone. But they agreed that if the instructors were able to get the training to be the forklift certified instructors, then they would be able to certify our students without taking on a big cost. So again, we're always looking for those win-wins that also bump up the student's resume. And so, yeah.
And there's one other thing that we get asked all the time. And parents are most concerned about their kids. And sometimes I feel like parents are kind of mistaken on what the trades is all about. We still offer dual credits. We still push post-secondary when it fits. We still have a lot of students that come to us to learn more about engineering and architecture so they can actually see it, feel it, and really become passionate about it. So we still push that, and we still go dual credits across the board. And what parents don't understand sometimes is that those associate's degrees through Ivy Tech, et cetera, they're still fully promoted by almost every trade union in our area. So the IKORCC Carpenters Union, for instance, they allow me to teach their first year course. They allow us to get through that pre-apprenticeship. And then after 4 years with the Carpenters Union, they're earning their associate's degree. So we are a really good blend of both right now. But certifications are so powerful. They're so immediate and they're so direct. And it's I know this. And this is what proves it. This is on my card. So we're really excited about all these different opportunities. And you got to know, when I started teaching at our Career Center around 2005, there weren't any books in any of our construction trades classrooms. And we started to think about as a department, like, what can we do to continue to attract kids and push kids to a different level? And so we've been kicking off that stigma since we started about being just an alternative learning program. We're a phenomenal learning program, and we present it in ways in which students, I don't think, could ever imagine.
One thing I'd like to say is through the Career Academy, there's, for parents who are listening, I have a child who went through the Career Academy because that's what she thought she wanted to do. And I'm sitting with a colleague whose daughter decided to do that after, and the savings that I had from my daughter going through the Career Academy doing it versus the parent over here who had to pay an exorbitant amount for the same certification. My child learned that that's not what she wanted to do when she was done.
Right.
And it afforded us the opportunity to send her on to college to do what she wants to do, but still have the certification that she's able to use while she's in college.
Yeah.
So I think that there's that trade off as well. Learning something, knowing it, getting a certification, but realizing that's not necessarily your path. And I think that that is a huge benefit also of the Career Academy, not if you decide that that's not your path.
We have that conversation all the time. Sometimes this is what you don't want to do. You know, I put students on a roof and we put shingles on that roof. And by day 2, instead of there's 14 on the roof with me, there's about 4. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We've got to eliminate those things. And you hate to do that on your own dollar. And so to be able to do that as a junior or senior is really valuable too. And sometimes that turns into other things. So we talk about what's connected to construction, the sales, the logistics, the development. There's all other ends of it other than just climbing up and down a ladder. And so we really try to emphasize that piece as well.
Thank you.
What's the biggest obstacle facing you, Mr. Roberts, in getting more kids or training more kids, other than space and money, of course?
Building space.
Okay. Other than space and money.
I don't see any obstacles. Our instructors do an unbelievable job of producing great kids that then are talking about what they get to do and driving newer vehicles than what we have as instructors and making more money than what we make as instructors, and we're really happy about that. I think just maybe one other obstacle is just parents and their understanding of what a trade really is, what automotive really is, and what it can be, and the items that are connected to it. So I think there's a lack in that aspect.
I want to say that your enthusiasm and your passion, both of you, is what makes our program successful. I know several people who've gone through your program, specifically Chris, who now own their own construction company and are building houses and laying driveways and all the things. Sam Cook, I'll throw him out there. I just want to say thank you for what you do and for your passion, and not only you, but all of the Anthus professionals and the teachers there, because they all bring that enthusiasm and love. And I think that is really what pushes our students forward with regard to certifications and the love of it and the attendance that you all get. It's because you guys make it fun and you make it, you're invested, so they're invested. And so I just want to say thank you so much, because you make it more than an alternative learning program. This is like a lifestyle. I think about the guy from the plumbers, who he said, we have students now that they have to redevelop curriculum because they've already gone through the whole thing. And so, that just, to me, speaks volumes of the confidence that the students are getting. They're like, hey, I can do this, and I can do it quick. So it's just great that our students have this opportunity. And to speak to Noah's point, and to piggyback on everything, we were a household of, I was academically sound, so college was my thing. But my next sister, she had issues with phonics, and so the classroom wasn't her best option, and so she did go through cosmetology, and then she flourished. She found her people, the instructor was great, and that hands-on learning gave her the confidence in the classroom, because obviously she still had to go to school half day and finish all those academic things. But the cosmetology program attributed to her being more successful in a regular classroom, gave her the confidence to move forward. And so I got to see firsthand that classroom, academics, SAT, it's not for everybody. Right. There needs to be a pathway for other learners as well. And I just think that this is such a great opportunity for students. I wish that we had more space. I don't know how we get that.
We'll be back next year.
Okay, yeah. But I just, thank you so much. And I've met with families who've gone to Skills USA, and like the mom went, the grandma went, the student went. It was a whole thing for their family. And they're just so proud, and it's just great.
It is.
What you're doing is great. I just love all of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Has Crown Lift ever given us a unit?
That's very specific.
They have not. Hall Lift dropped one off yesterday with a indefinite timeline of use. So, but no, any further suggestions would take. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're on to board member comments. Steve?
I have nothing to add. I mean, after winning a national championship a week ago, I have no energy left. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Just again, thank you to all of our campus Career Center staff and faculty, and thank you, Dr. Adams, for coming over to share all of that exciting news. And I don't think I have anything else this time. Thanks.
I want to thank Emily Oberlin, principal at Wayne, who gave me a tour of Wayne High School, and we got to chat a bit, and really impressed with the renovation at Wayne High School. That cafeteria is awesome. I really like that space in the back with the booths for juniors and seniors. And I didn't know it, but Wayne has a dance studio. And I think they're teaching 3 dance classes and hope to expand that. I think that's an awesome program, and really enjoyed, talked to some students, and impressed with the culture at Wayne, and impressed with Emily too. In her, what is this, about 6 months? She's been in the job now, but she's doing a great job.
Great.
Ann asked me to sub for her on this legislative update on Monday, I think, and we got some good news, I think, about pre-K. I think the Senate amended a bill to open up about $50 million for pre-K vouchers. I don't know, Rosie and I talked a little bit, we're not exactly sure what the impact of that is, but it's got to be good. So hopefully that will go through. And I just want to, I feel compelled to speak about the news and things that we've seen and read about what's going on in Minnesota. I'm praying for that community. I'm praying for students, for teachers, for family members, for parents. I think that community is going through a trauma that is unimaginable. It's something I never thought I would see in my lifetime. I don't understand the inhumanity, and I never will. But I just know that it needs to be called out, and we cannot stay silent. People are watching, our children are watching, and I just refuse to believe that this is who we are, or that this is who we will become.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Tony?
I'll follow that a little bit with my child is often the person who gives me updates on Fort Wayne Community Schools and what's going on here. And this morning, she shared with me a rumor that is going around about something that's going to happen at Fort Wayne Community Schools involving a similar thing with Minnesota. And I just want to make sure that, one, we're careful about what we're sharing, that it's founded, and that all of our students feel safe and protected when they come into our buildings. There are protocols in place that they can reach out to their administrator about. But again, the fact that my child is even coming to me worried about these things, because it doesn't just impact the students that some people may think don't belong in our schools. It impacts all of our students, and no student should feel worried about anything other than getting the education when they come into our buildings. And on a lighter note with that, also going with the preschool, I'm sending my support for the early childhood education educators who are going down to the State House on February 5th to advocate for programs and policies that impact early childhood education. That impacts us as well. Seeing students ready to enter kindergarten and involves going to quality child care facilities, quality early learning centers. So sending them support as they go to the State House on February 5th.
Thank you, Tony. Jennifer?
I was going to mention the same thing, Tony, about the, I've sat on many committees and boards, and I've sat in the Greater Fort Wayne Inc.'s many times over for legislative luncheons that are our legislative previews. And more times than not, the number one thing that businesses, people in our community say is that we need to have quality childcare. And we need that support, but I have never once seen that that is the legislative priority. And I feel like that is a necessary need for a community to be strong and a state to be strong. And I wish that our legislators would hear that. And then I'm excited to see or hear from Julie that we heard that we may get some found money for pre-K. But we know, and there are facts and data points that point to early childhood education being leading to academic success for our children. And that's what we're here for. And so if there's found money somewhere, please send it that direction, because young families, students who have children, that we need them back in school. We need quality education for those kids to send their children. We need quality education for young parents to send their children. And we can do better with those children who come to us with some kind of early childhood education. We can meet the standards that the state is asking us. We can get there, and we can get there faster with less resources if they just give us more resources at the beginning. So I would like to charge our legislators to come to those legislative sessions and those priorities, and the next time that I hear them, that be a priority, because everyone in the room in all of our community is asking for that. Just make it a priority, and then we can turn out our students to become quality individuals in our community while supporting the rest of the community. So I'm pleading for that to go through so that we can do something with that will in turn be tenfold over.
Thank you, Jennifer Ann.
Last Friday, I met with some gentlemen who were interested in volunteering for FWCS in some capacity, and I want to thank you, Shanita, for going with me. What I found most impressive was that one of the gentlemen said that that public schools are the backbone of our community, and I'm usually the one telling people that rather than them telling me. And it is so true that our current students are going to be our workforce, they're going to be our leaders, and so it's important that they have a quality education. It takes more than our teachers and staff to educate our students. It takes community partnerships, and it takes volunteers to make our schools what they are. So I was excited to talk to these gentlemen. Hopefully they will do volunteer in some capacity for us. And I emailed them, several suggestions of how they can get involved. And this impressed me as well. One emailed me back, and he said, "We applaud you for all of your hard work on behalf of our kids." And these guys don't have any children in school right now, but to call our students his kids or our kids, that just made an impression to me that they understand the importance of schools in the community, the importance of education, and that no matter who you are, whether you have kids in schools now or you never have, it's still important to be supportive and understand that they are our backbone and our students will be the leaders someday.
Thank you, Ann. Dr. Daniel?
First of all, Chris, thank you for the program that you are continuing to run and your leadership. It takes great teachers to draw students, and I think that's one of the three reasons why your program continues to expand. We are having discussions on how do we expand those key type programs. Dr. Adams is thinking we have to prioritize because of limited resources, but again, let's put that forward. The expectations of our students is at this level, and I think they will rise to that expectation. So therefore, that's why the marketplace is wanting our kids. So can't sell Fort Wayne Community Schools any better. In regards to, I know Pete's no longer here, but I really appreciate what's happening with our buildings and grounds folks. These are trying times in this type of weather. You are probably going to see more 2-hour delays. We want the sun out to do a little bit of activation of the salt and so forth. But I do request that parents take their time in our drop-off lanes as well as our pickup lanes. They are being salted, but again, it still takes certain temperature and sunshine to activate. But love it, what they're doing. Appreciate the snow removal. We are we have canceled for tomorrow. We tried to do that as early as possible so parents could arrange for childcare, which leads me to our whole discussion in regards to child care and early learning. We are at the process of pivoting on some of our high-level grants, and roughly $1 million from Indiana University Foundation, another $500,000 from an organization in Indianapolis in regards to early learning. We're forming a different business plan, but we're hoping to recover some of the costs that we've lost because of caps on On My Way Pre-K, as well as the national voucher, which is CCDF. Again, that was an idea, was to support our developing a new program where it was a capital project. We've had to put that on hold. Instead, we're moving to an operation campaign to cover the costs in utilizing current facilities that exist within our community and partnering with those folks. So hopefully we will impact a greater number of our kids. But the idea also, and I don't think people realize this, we have approximately 1,200 students. Those are both 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, total combination, that we serve in our pre-K programs, which is phenomenal. But the need, we have a waiting list over 600 families. So the need is tremendous. And again, thinking outside the box, how to partner with private as well as public entities.
And how many students we get compensated for through On My Way Pre-K of the 1,200?
So only about 155 the previous year. Now it's been downcast to about 35, 75 right now. So it takes 8 families to cover one of our classrooms' operating expenses. Because we have basically a 10-to-1 ratio, one fully certified teacher, which is fabulous. Fully certified teacher with an assistant. So absolutely these are critical, and I think all the research shows, yes, if we want kids to be reading at third grade, they need to have a jump start if they haven't had any type of pre-K programming. So therefore, how do we provide it? But also, part of our solution was how do we also grow daycare or early learning providers? So how do we have students who are in internships, that sort of thing? And again, still working on that business plan. I just passed it to Rosie and Joe a little bit earlier today, so we can have a look at it. And last but not least, yes, the rumors that Tony was speaking of. We have checked with some of the key community organizations. Those are rumors. Those are not truths being spoken. And I'd also point to the fact on February 2nd, it's a very important day for Fort Wayne Community Schools. This is the second day to confirm enrollment, which drives our funding. Isn't it ironic that we're having this rumor today? Again, February 2nd is very, very important for us. And as all that has been spoken here, every family should feel that they can send their kid to a school and feel as if there's safety there, but more importantly, there's a home to come back to and there's a mother and father there. So, thank you for all your comments this evening. I think it's well spoken.
Thank you, Dr. Dino. A lot of great comments. I guess I'll just piggyback, starting off with Julie's. I agree with everything she said, and I too personally refuse to believe this is what our future holds. In that vein, as Ian said, our students are the future employees, community members, and fellow Fort Wayne Community School Board people. Everyone on this dais, except for one, is a graduate of Fort Wayne Community Schools, and he's been on this board so long. He's one day we got to give him an honorary graduation. Pick your high school, Steve. Pick your high school. Maybe we'll even let you choose Elmhurst, maybe. But I think we're unique in that way, as we see other board members throughout the state. But every one of us, including Dr. Dino and Angela, are graduates. So I think with what's going on in Minnesota and other parts throughout the nation, but also here close to home as it relates to education and what we all fight for. Last year, they passed the SE1s, Enrolled Act 1, that greatly impacted our funding. We had to take decisive action with employees. We continue to mindfully watch our budget. It's one of the key elements that has kept us in positive standing, I believe, with not only just the community as a whole, but also the state leaders. They also last year took over a school corporation in the middle of the night with no public commentary. A small school corporation called Union School Corporation, which is outside of Muncie, who, as we who've been watching education for a while, look at them and think, well, they were doing all the things the state wanted. They wanted to expand outside their district. So, okay, they went to online schooling. They took kids in through other schools and grew their population. That's currently in a court situation right now. But also this year then, the state's looking to take over Indianapolis School Board. And Indianapolis has its unique challenges. Indianapolis and Gary are very unique in the state in education. By the way, they took over Gary and Muncie in 2018, I think. So I hope, like Julie thinks, that this is not the America to come. I hope to think that this is not the Indiana to come as relates to public education. Because while I will not be here for as long as Steve has. I hope my friend Tony will be, maybe, or Maria, who have young kids. I do believe in public education. I do believe in the Chris Robertson and Sandra Adams of the world, and all the other people who are out there every day trying to improve our children, to improve our community. And the continued challenges that we get faced with at the state, I hope not to look back at 2025 and 2026 and say that was the time that it turned and there's no more public education. So legislators have a big say in this. We get to implement certain things, we can tax certain things, but I would estimate, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably 80% of what we do is driven down to us from the State House. And if they just want to take it all over, that's their prerogative. I mean, that seems to be the way we're headed. I don't agree with that. I didn't think that's what one party stood for. I thought one party stood for smaller government and closer to the spot government, but that's what we seem to be having. So with that, thank you again for Mr. Roberts and Ms. Adams on a great program note, and some of the shining lights we have at Fort Wayne Community Schools. Thank you, Rosie, for another great year under the budget and keeping us in line. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for those who attended and sticking around. This was a long meeting. You should have come last week when it was short and sweet.